The military industrial complex is a powerful force in American society. President Dwight D. Eisenhower first warned of its influence in 1961. As a former five-star general, he understood the military well. The roots of this complex stretch back further. They grew significantly during the World Wars. The National Security Act of 1947 solidified its structure. This act reorganized military branches and established the CIA. These changes created a permanent arms industry linked with government. This complex involves defense contractors, military officials, and politicians. Major defense companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Raytheon are central. Northrop Grumman and General Dynamics are also significant. These firms secure enormous government contracts. They collectively obtained around $150 billion in Pentagon contracts annually. Lockheed Martin alone received $75 billion in 2020. These contracts ensure a constant flow of public money to private companies. The scale of these operations is vast. Lobbying is a primary tool of influence for these corporations. Defense contractors spend millions to shape defense policy and budget decisions. These companies make large political contributions, often targeting key congressional members. In the 2022 election cycle, defense sector contributions were telling, and members of the House and Senate Armed Services Committees who voted for increased Pentagon spending received significantly more. Those voting against increases received much less. During the 2024 election cycle, the military industrial complex reportedly spent around $148.5 million. The revolving door further cements these relationships. Former Pentagon officials, military officers, and politicians frequently take high-paying jobs with defense firms or lobbying groups. This creates a network of well-connected individuals who understand the inner workings of government. A 2023 Senate report highlighted this issue, documenting 672 former government officials, military officers, and congressional staff employed by the top 20 military industrial complex companies. This movement raises concerns about potential conflicts of interest and suggests that policy may be shaped by personal career prospects. The scale of United States military expenditure is immense. The Pentagon's budget for 2023 stood at a staggering $886 billion. This figure represented over half of the entire federal discretionary budget. Nearly 50% of this enormous sum was channeled to private contractors. This translates to a significant cost for the average American taxpayer. This is far more than the $270 spent on K-12 education per taxpayer. The US accounts for approximately 40% of global military spending. This level of spending has profound economic implications. A key justification for such high defense spending is economic dependency and job creation. Defense contracts are often strategically spread across numerous congressional districts, creating local jobs and making communities reliant on continued military funding. Politicians may feel pressured to support defense programs to protect jobs in their constituencies. Obsolete systems like the B-2 bomber or the Seawolf submarine have historically received funding partly to preserve local economies. The F-35 fighter jet program continues despite significant delays and cost overruns, largely due to its widespread economic impact. Think tanks play a subtle yet crucial role in shaping policy and public opinion. Many influential think tanks receive substantial funding from defense contractors. Organizations like the Brookings Institution and the Center for a New American Security are examples. These institutions produce policy papers, reports, and analyses that often advocate for increased military spending or specific military interventions. Their scholars and experts are frequently quoted in the media and testify before Congress, giving their views an air of independent authority. However, their financial ties to the defense industry raise questions about their objectivity. The narratives produced by these think tanks significantly influence media coverage, shaping public perception of defense and security issues. When expert commentators, often affiliated with industry-funded think tanks, dominate discussions, particular viewpoints are amplified. These narratives can create a climate of opinion favorable to military solutions and foster support for high levels of defense expenditure. The public may come to see a large military budget as essential and perceive frequent military action as unavoidable. This creates a self-reinforcing cycle where the media landscape becomes an echo chamber for pro-military arguments, making critical voices harder to hear. Critics argue that the military industrial complex thrives on a state of forever war and benefits from a consistently heightened perception of threat. Throughout history, various global adversaries have fueled defense spending. The Cold War with the Soviet Union was one such period, and the subsequent war on terror provided another long-term justification. More recently, the rise of China is presented as a major threat, often used to argue for larger defense budgets. However, China's military spending is approximately one-third of that of the US. The constant identification of new enemies ensures continued demand for military hardware and services. The war in Ukraine, for example, has led to the depletion of Western military stockpiles, which now need to be replaced, meaning new contracts for defense manufacturers. Furthermore, the US engages in extensive arms sales to allies. Countries in the Middle East, such as Israel and Saudi Arabia, are major customers. These sales not only generate profit, but also extend US influence. The global reach of the military-industrial complex is evident in these ongoing arms transfers. Every conflict or potential conflict becomes a business opportunity for some. The term deep state is sometimes invoked in discussions about the military-industrial complex. It refers to a theory of entrenched influential networks operating within government bureaucracy, intelligence agencies, and the military, influencing policy behind the scenes regardless of elected leadership. Proponents of this theory suggest these elements collude with the MIC, prioritizing military solutions and substantial defense budgets to serve their mutual interests over the public good. While a controversial concept, it reflects deep-seated anxieties and highlights concerns about accountability and hidden power in government. Alongside established giants, new players are emerging, particularly from Silicon Valley. Companies like Anduril Industries and Palantir are challenging traditional defense contractors, incorporating advanced technologies like artificial intelligence into military systems. Anduril, founded in 2017, saw its valuation soar rapidly. Anduril and General Atomics recently won a contract for prototype combat aircraft, beating established firms. The Pentagon's Replicator initiative, launched in August 2023, aims to accelerate this trend, seeking to cut red tape and award contracts directly to innovative startups. This signals a potential shift in the landscape of military procurement. The military-industrial complex faces significant criticism for its opportunity costs. Funds for defense divert resources from vital areas like education, healthcare, and infrastructure. President Eisenhower warned that every warship built is a theft from those who hunger. Reducing military spending could fund new nurse and teacher positions. The US maintains a massive global military presence, shaping international relations. Proponents argue a strong military ensures national security and technological innovation. GPS and the internet are examples of military innovations with civilian uses. Continuous scrutiny and public debate are essential to balance defense priorities. The challenge lies in finding the right balance.